And nothing can stop me. Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what, yeah. Susceptible night, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible night, before the moment flies.
What's up, guys? I'm Britney Spears of the group. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Hey, this is Murph.
Welcome to the Waiting Table Hot Mess Express. Welcome back.
Oh, man. Wow.
I have to say that my favorite thing of all of that was, Rob, when you were getting your lighting and stuff working before. Your face was so funny.
I'm concentrated, man.
I know, I could see that.
Lighting is important stuff when it comes to podcasting, guys. I don't know if you know that. And likewise, what's very important right now is back to school. So as you can see, all of us are sort of dressed in our best back to school things because we are back at it at the waiting table. We are back coming on every week on Wednesdays. Summer hours, I guess, are over and our summer schedule is over. So we will be with you guys every single week. So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Waiting Table Podcast, where we have roundtable discussions with the hottest topics in weight loss, with, of course, the coolest people from the bariatric community. I'm Rob. This is Murph. We got Shay. And, of course, we got you guys. So grab a chair, wind down from your busy day, and take a seat at the table. Murph, buddy, how's it going?
I'm the maintenance man.
Yeah.
I'm
Murph.
Murph. So I was uploading our video, and I still got my headphones in, and all of a sudden our video uploaded, and some music started blasting in my ear.
Oh, sexy time
It
music.
scared me, and so I'm over here like trying to do my intro, but I scared myself, and I couldn't even word right. And so, other than that, I'm doing great. It's good to be back, and yeah, you guys look fantastic. And this old thing, but you guys look great, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, I feel like it was like perfect. We couldn't have planned that any better. Of like, back to school, it's kind of like a little weird and clunky the first day back, and that's totally how I felt like today. It's been really fun though, way more fun than school.
We planned it like that. We planned to be clunky. Yeah, we said we texted each other and like be as awkward as possible today, and clunky, like we've never done this before. So
Never.
Yeah, guys, go team.
Go team.
Well, I am super excited to have our guest on tonight, and I want to bring her in on this conversation because I thought it would be fun to open up a little bit on what we were like in high school. If you guys don't know, by the way, we do happy hour on Instagram Live about 15 minutes before the start of this show. So we talked about it a little bit, but I'd like to bring our guest on to get her in on the conversation as well. So today we have Brenda from ProCare, and Brenda is just a super awesome person. She is so kind, so cool. She's also a nurse and a bariatric patient. And I'm just so excited to have her on. So I will say welcome to Brenda. We'll get you on here with us. Hello.
Hey, Brenda.
Hey,
how are you?
Great. Thank you for having me here. I'm pumped. I've not got to meet any of you guys in person, so I'm looking forward to that in the future here. But it's great to actually just see you on camera and get to spend time with you.
You picked a fun episode to come on with us because we had it was kind of like a summer break, and so that's why we're kind of considering the show like our back to school, back to the podcast episode. So Brenda, I'm curious, what if you could say one word about how you were in high school, how would you describe yourself?
Fun. I mean, I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie.
I love it. I love it.
That's my word, fun. I had, regardless of where I was, I didn't take high school too seriously. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really can't even believe I went into nursing because I never thought that would have been in the cards for me. My biology class, I made an F. So I mean, it kind of tells you something. But I took a liking to it after, like I took a liking to nursing after high school. But in high school, my main focus was fun. Yeah.
I love it. Well, and do you regret that? Or were you happy with that? Yeah, I know people put so much pressure on kids like in high school and elementary school. It's like, yeah, here's a perfect example. You had fun in high school and you became a nurse. Like you figure it out in the end. It's all good. And really figuring it out means we don't ever figure it out. So it's all good.
How about you guys? Did you talk about what your word would have been? I missed it if so.
So let me ask you this so we can involve you a bit more and also put you on the spot. Sorry, Brenda. So we did have our one word to describe ourselves. Can you guess what that word would have been? Based on, you haven't met us really. You've seen us maybe on Instagram. You've had 8 minutes at this point. What would you say? What word would you say for each of us?
Oh gosh.
No
okay.
offense, regardless.
I don't know enough about you guys. So I'm going to be just totally guessing. Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to say Shay. She was probably like artsy and maybe athletic. I'm going to say. Is that?
It's somewhat true. Yeah. Well, in the sense, I was artsy. I did a lot of photography. I was telling the guys I was on yearbook. And then I was a cheerleader. And so in that way, I was athletic. Like I was always the base. I was pretty strong in that way. But I wouldn't say like I was like sporty, but that's not what you said. You said athletic. And you know what? I'm going to claim that. I'm going to say
I'll take that one.
Good guess.
Good one.
Okay. I'm going to try Murph next. Okay. Do you go by Murph or?
Just Murph. Yeah. That's
just Murph. Okay. So I'm going to say I see a lot of strength and I see like maybe like a biker kind of guy, like just hard ass kind of guy. That's what I see.
All right.
He's got a hard ass.
I do.
Was that it? Yeah. Was that, am I anywhere even close?
Okay. I was a skater, but I also played hockey and football and golf and basketball. And I was pretty active, but I could hang out with the skaters and the rockers. I was a drummer. And so I've got, you could have, you could have said anything.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good.
The biker thing kind of comes from just seeing somebody who's just like, not kind of like non-conventional, just kind of, likes to have a good time. I can see you being in a band.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've always been in a band. But I was, the first thing that I discussed on Instagram was that I was a sleeper. I didn't take class or school very seriously. And I slept a lot, and then probably class clown and then all the other things. And so, you got it. Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Rob, I'm seeing you as kind of like scholarly and smart and top of the class kind of guy is what I'm seeing.
That is not incorrect. So you are pretty bang on with that too. That's really good.
Yeah, he was saying he was a valedictorian and
Oh, hey. I'm pretty good at vibes. I can pick up
No.
good
I know.
vibes.
I was like, and
Good.
we learned from Brenda that she's a very good judge of character. So people that she likes, I think I'm gonna like too.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank you. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go. You go ahead.
I was just going to say thank you for humoring me. It's always kind of fun just to see like where people have come from, how they are now, what's the same, what's different. But Brenda, are you able to share a little bit about your now, just a little bit about you, your story, ProCare, just a little bit about that for our friends who are listening that maybe have never met you before?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. So right now I work with ProCare Health as a nurse, and I mostly do these kind of like, I do a lot of live events. I do support groups. I do just all kinds of community, like I interact with community a lot. So I go to a lot of conferences and that type of thing with the bariatric community. Where that started, it's kind of interesting. That's probably been about 12 or 13 years ago. I started working in the bariatric field as a nurse. I was looking for something kind of different. I worked in emergency room nursing for 20 some years, and I just needed a change. And I also, in between that, had done some coaching. So I got a coaching certification and a holistic health certification, something called Healing Touch. And I was looking for something different. I was like, okay, I want to do something different. So I actually just went in and I applied for this bariatric nurse coordinator job, didn't know anything about bariatric surgery, and started working for a program. ProCare Health was the vitamin that our clinic chose to promote, like out of our clinic. It was kind of newer then, like back 10, 12 years ago, however long it was. ProCare Health was kind of newer. And so took a liking to them because they're out of Missouri. And I'm from Missouri, the Midwest, and basically they're just a couple hours from me. So Nick, their CEO, would come down, do support groups for me, and kind of got to have a relationship with them, got to know their products really well. And then in 2019, he asked me, he's like, you know a lot about our products. He said, how about you come and travel with us to conferences whenever we do conferences around the US. So I started doing that. So I went to about 5 conferences in 2019 with them, and then another 5 or 6 in 2020. And then COVID hit, of course, and everything shut down and our clinic closed. And so I was looking for a job, and Nick just kind of made a job for me. He's the main person there at ProCare. And so he's just like, what would that look like? And I'm like, I want to do something that will be a way to connect with patients and connect with facilities as opposed to having just sales. So my idea was just to come in and do support. And so support groups, just connecting in that way. So that's where I am now. So it's been fun.
Well, and in that process too, because I heard your story because you and I have talked, but when was it that you had bariatric surgery? Because that was just like, just a little thing thrown in there too, that you experienced that also.
Yes. So I had weight loss surgery back in 2012. And at that time, I had been in the clinic for about a year working as a nurse. And what I was seeing is like our program was brand new when we first started. And what I saw was all these employees of the hospital. Our first year was probably 80% employees that had weight loss surgery because our insurance started covering it. And so it was incredible getting to connect with people from the hospital and then, working with them and seeing all their success. I was like, okay, I'm not scared anymore to do this. I'm going to do this. So, I had a sleeve gastrectomy, and it's been a life changer for me. So it's kind of helped me be able to understand, I obviously understand what people who've had weight loss surgery go through because I had it myself. Maybe not the same types of scenarios, but it's been a really good gift for me to help me with my weight.
That's so awesome. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
And you know what's also, I think, it's awesome that it's a gift. It was a gift for you, but it's that gift that you continuously reciprocate back to the community. The resource that you are to the community is amazing. From being a nurse, having all these different things you offer in regards to coaching, whether it's in regards to your episodes with about dietitians or about macros or about um, all these different things, and it's just amazing to see how you've been able to give back so much to this community. Um, and there's so much, it's such a wealth of information and knowledge that you're sharing with people. And I think, that's why a lot of us go on Instagram. That's why a lot of us join these communities, because it is sometimes a confusing journey, right? And having someone like yourself guide us through that is very, very helpful for sure.
Oh, thanks, Rob. That's so incredibly sweet. And I want to tell you, really, I still learn every single day. Like, as soon as I have a question, I'm probably one of the most inquisitive people out there. I mean, that's my personality, but that's what helps me learn, because if I have a question, I'm going to start researching it right away. And then I know somebody else has that same question, because I know, like, especially with weight loss surgery, that's what kind of got me interested in education. Like my nursing degree, my master's degree is in education, because I feel like if you can just help one person, you actually help the whole world. It's a ripple effect. I asked one time, I was coaching some young kids with anxiety one time, and I was like just praying about it. I'm like, what is this all about? Why am I being led to all these children that are having these issues? They were coming to me and asking for help. And the guidance that I was given is that, you change one person's life, you change the world, because that one person has so many connections. They have their parents, they have their siblings, they have their aunts and uncles, they have all their friends, they have a community, and you change one person. And I mean, if you've ever been around somebody that's unhappy or that's sad, it has an effect on you. If you can have an effect of positivity and happiness on another person, you can change them. You can change things in that way. So yes, thank you, Rob. I mean, you guys are doing the same thing, and I love it. I love it.
Well, it reminds me so much of what Murph, I feel like you always say it, so I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but like you always say that. So I'll leave it to you. I don't want to butcher it.
I started my journey on Facebook, and there was a lot of negativity, and so I jumped onto Instagram because I was looking for a way to get some of my questions answered. But if I can learn from somebody else and then pass on that information, I could just help. My goal was always just to help one person, and that's how I started on Instagram. It was my wife's idea. And I said, Insta what? And I didn't even know anything about it, but I got on here and I was like, if I could just tell my story and share my journey and how I've learned to deal with these things, because you don't know where anybody else is in their journey, and they could be right where I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or somebody today is experiencing what I might experience tomorrow. So it's important that we share our stories. And so I've always, that's not my thing. That's just how I feel the same way that you do, Brenda, is, just for that one person, just get out here. And if one person hears my story and it makes a little bit of a difference, then I feel like I've accomplished something great, just for reaching one person, because that ripple effect, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That's so cool. We're all in sync.
On the same wavelength, right?
Well, and Brenda, just to give you a little bit of context, because I know like you've seen some of our stuff, but maybe those that are newer back to school with us, right, coming and seeing us for the first time. Rob and Murph, can you just give like little highlights of your stories a little bit, just to kind of give Brenda a picture, and maybe those that are listening that are new, just where you guys came from?
Yeah, I think Murph and I are very, very similar. I think that's what really actually drew us together. We are a lot of the different things, as we are coming to recognize, is not dissimilar with a lot of people within the bariatric community and what they were like pre-op. But Murph and I were both I was 380 at my highest in regards to recorded. I believe I was over 400. I know Murph was above that, and he'll share that. We both were in, walking with canes or in wheelchairs. We both had immense pain. I have 4 herniated discs. I had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I was on 15 different medications for my heart, my blood pressure, for pain. Just because I couldn't do a lot. Mobility was horrible. We both spent months sleeping in chairs because we wouldn't be able to lie down. And so I know with Murph and I, we were able to connect and initially start the podcast because when we started, we felt like we didn't have anyone to go to. And initially, it was very much related to men. We didn't have other males that we could emulate and be like, "Hey, this is what they're going through. This is what I want to go through. I want to see how they've done it." And so that was the reason why we started the podcast in the first place. But I think the other part that really connects us and a big part of our journey is the whole idea of our community, our family. I have 2 kids, and one of the big things that made me want to make this change is the fact that I was watching my kids grow up and I wasn't actually active in it because I was watching from a chair because I couldn't stand up, I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. Murph has a lot more kids than I do, so he has sorry, Murph. He's trying to count. He doesn't have enough fingers. But and we bring that same approach to the waiting table. It's about the people we have around us, the importance of family and community. We consider the other people in the bariatric community are Bari families. And that's why we called it the waiting table. We are inviting people to come to our table, break bread, and celebrate our journeys together as much as possible. So that's a bit about me and how it relates to the waiting table. Murph.
And Rob is, in fact, the Britney Spears of the waiting table.
True.
So that was, So my highest recorded weight was 464. But my wife and I agreed that I was probably in the 480, 490 range. Herniated discs, walking with a cane. She would push me around in a wheelchair if they didn't have one of those electric scooters at the front gate. And I was alive, but I wasn't living. And I've got 7 kids, and I was unemployed. I couldn't work, couldn't stand for more than 5 to 10 minutes. And Rob, what he tends to leave out in this story is that he's like the first guy. He and the other Rob simultaneously. Rob, my weight is history. These 2 guys came and just picked me up and helped me out in a way that nobody else in this community has to this day. They just helped me with everything. And Rob came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to co-host a podcast with me." And I feel like we've got a lot of similarities, and what an honor it has been. We've only been doing this for a year, and it seems like so much longer. But to share our journeys and such similar journeys. We're both Filipino, and we're both. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I laugh so I don't cry. But no, I just we like Rob said, we started for guys in the community because not a lot of guys are telling their story, and it's hard to be a tough, strong family guy with kids and to break down and say I need help, And Rob and I were able to agree that we both need help and we can help each other, and so that's what we've been doing from my dining room table right here, and this is the waiting table, and this is where we want to serve the weight loss community, and so we absolutely love it. And then Shay came in, and Shay's only been with us since December. Was it December or January? Like the 1st of January. We had our first episode with Shay. And she is.
You haven't been able to shake me off yet.
Not yet. We're trying.
We try all the time. But
Shay's like the little sister that
much younger, as I like to remind them both.
That you try to push out a moving car. No, Shay's great. We love Shay, and she brings to the table the female aspect of things that we couldn't, because we were getting so many questions about, what about, menstrual cycles and these things, and Rob's looking at his wife like, what do I say? And we didn't know what to do. And so Shay's on board, and we love
And
having her here.
they love how much I love to talk about menstrual cycles and periods. When I get going on that, they just light up with joy whenever I bring that topic up. So Brenda, feel free at any point to bring up periods, hormones. What are some other topics I bring up that you guys love?
You can't scare us anymore. You can't.
No,
we've heard it all.
It's lost its effect. Now, Brenda, like obviously you have a wealth of knowledge, and there's so many different things. We were talking earlier, and there's a lot of questions we have. I know that there are other questions. So I'd love to start getting to them so we can start asking you some questions. I'm going to shoot this first one, actually. This is a question not from Murph, but from Murph's wife. So what do you find supplement-wise that most bariatric patients are lacking post-surgery? I'm Murph's wife and looking through your supplements and trying to pick out what's best for him post-op. And I think a good thing to also recognize is where he is in his journey, right? Because Murph had VSG almost, it was like 2.5 years ago. 2 years ago.
July.
So I guess it's a good question. So like immediately post-op, and as the patient sort of progresses through the journey, how does that supplement vitamin aspect change?
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. Hey, this is definitely something I can answer. I got you on this one, Murph, because with my job as a coordinator before, we actually did labs on every patient, and I was helping ProCare at that time. We did a program. It was called Vitamin Assistance, like to help patients who were like not able to afford vitamins. And actually we did vitamins labs on all of our patients. So like I saw patients, the 10 years that I worked there, saw almost all the patients' labs. So I know what they look like, taking vitamins, not taking vitamins, that type of thing. And what I can tell you is the main things that you definitely want for post-bariatric surgery. It's recommended by the ASMBS, which is American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, long words. But they do a lot of studies on bariatric patients. And we're so, so fortunate because, there's so much research out there. Over 30 years on the gastric bypass, sleeve's been around now quite some time, probably 15, 20 years. And so there's a lot of research. The main thing's a great multivitamin that's made for bariatric surgery patients. It's different than an over-the-counter men's vitamin or women's one a day because they're specifically formulated for people who've had weight loss surgery. Now, alongside that, calcium with vitamin D, and that should be taken 2 hours separate from your one-a-day multivitamin. And usually 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams is recommended. There are some procedures that are a little bit more needed with vitamins, like the duodenal switch. They call it also the SATI. Though I think it goes in kind of a scale. Like if you're a DS SATI person, your needs are going to be the greatest. If you're a gastric bypass, second. Sleeve gastrectomy, third. Lap band, last. Your absorbency needs are different. So obviously, depending on the surgery you have, your needs will be a little different. With the gastric sleeve, it's one of those things you really don't, the way the surgery is done, you don't really have a really strong need for vitamins, but your diet is different. You're not able to take in the same nutrients as you did before. And so it is recommended lifelong for all patients who've had that to actually be on vitamins. So a good multivitamin and then calcium supplementation. Now, what are the things like that you would look for as far as deficiencies? Some of the biggest deficiencies are usually vitamin D. Even patients before weight loss surgery have vitamin D deficiencies. I mean, it's probably almost everybody has that. Not every single person, but almost everybody before surgery even. And then some of the other ones are, I'd say, zinc, copper. Sometimes we'll have B1. B1 can be really serious. We had a patient that came in just right after surgery, had a B1 deficiency, and they thought she was having some kind of brain malfunction, like testing her for a stroke and all these neurological things. And it was actually B1. So the main way to know if you have deficiencies that you need to check is basically just making sure you get your labs done once a year. And I still do that. Honestly, if you want to do it the cheap route, you can go to some place like LabCorp, get the list, have your primary care doctor order them. If you can't afford to still see your bariatric surgeon, if you can still afford to see your bariatric surgeon, go there. That's the best. So long answer to a short question.
I'm just going to ask a quick follow-up that because I want to really push my questions. I love that you suggested the labs once a year and get your blood work done and everything. How about bone density tests? Would you suggest
I love that? Not all places do it, but I think after, I want to say it's after age 50, maybe, screening could be really helpful. I've not had it done yet. I'm 53. I have to remember 53 or 54. I was born in 68. But I've not had it, but I that's on my list of to-dos. I think that's great. Do you have specific experience with bone density?
So I'm in Canada, and I know that there are a lot of places that do them. A lot of the people within my local bariatric group, they do it annually. It's something that is on my list for this fall. I'm 40, so, am I quite there yet? Maybe not, but I still want to make sure because, the last thing, I would like to be proactive with as many things as possible with my blood work, with my bone density test, because I don't want to find out after the fact. Like, we've worked very, very hard to regain our health at this point, that I would hate to let something go by the wayside that I could have pinpointed earlier on, right?
Oh, absolutely. And if you've had problems with your back before, as you mentioned, with your disc and all of that, you want to make sure that those bones stay nice and strong. So very important.
For sure.
So for the ladies, and Shay is here, of course, and so what is there a difference between what a female bariatric patient should be taking from a male bariatric patient as far as vitamins go, like a like one a day multivitamin type of thing? Do you have specific?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question because I've had males not like to say I don't need to take a vitamin. So it is recommended for males to take basically the same regimen. The only thing I would say that might differ just a little bit is the iron.
Yep.
So if you take a multivitamin with iron, usually it's recommended you take 18 to 45 milligrams. If you're a female that still has menstrual periods, or if you've had a history of iron deficiency anemia, then 45 milligrams. If you're a person that has had weight loss surgery and you're just needing supplementation, male, female, then 18 is okay. I think our biggest selling product though is our multivitamin ProCare Health's biggest product selling is the one a day with 45 of iron. Probably because there's just so many women that's had weight loss surgery. The men is probably a minority.
Yeah. Well, and I was just going to say, I just took a video. I'm going to share it later, but of me doing all my vitamins because I just got mine in from ProCare, and Brenda was so awesome with helping me kind of like piece together what I was already taking and what things could be replaced. And so I got the prenatal vitamin because conception is a goal in the future at some point. And so she had mentioned that would be a good one to start. And then I also got the magnesium and vitamin D. So I replaced those because I was taking two different supplements, one magnesium, one vitamin D. And so now I'm excited. I just get one supplement for that. And then the other product that I'm so excited to try is the insulin resistance one. And that's something that I've struggled with my polycystic ovarian syndrome and dealing with insulin resistance. But Brenda, could you give a little bit more context? Because I'm not going to do it justice of maybe some of those products that I talked about and why you suggested them for me.
Yeah. Are you talking about all of them or just the magnesium or the insulin
All of them,
resistance?
yeah, if you don't mind, just to kind of maybe give other people perspective, like if they're, 28-year-old woman or in that range, maybe thinking of trying to conceive after bariatric surgery, have had, different issues with either PCOS or endometriosis, things like that in the past. I just feel like you were so helpful for me with picking those ones to try.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shay's done so much background information with research, because that was one of her main goals. So, I mean, I give you credit too, Shay, for knowing a lot about all this. So there is, if you're wanting to conceive, or you are pregnant, or you're postpartum and you're breastfeeding or whatever, ProCare does make a prenatal vitamin. I'm not aware that any other company out there on the market does have a prenatal. So that's kind of a little specialty product, and it's specifically formulated for women who are at that stage. It has different levels of certain vitamins that are safe for the baby and safe for mom. And basically just make sure that you stay at normal ranges. So that is on that. On the magnesium, magnesium actually comes with some immunity complexes as well. A lot of people with COVID were super scared about all the different immune issues, and so magnesium is one of those. Magnesium, surprisingly enough, can also help with like constipation and with brain fog and with some other things. So there are some advantages. I know there's a lot of people that just add that magnesium in for those kinds of things. Shay, was there something specific on magnesium that made you decide to take it? I couldn't remember.
I don't know if this is accurate, so let me know if I'm getting it crossed. But I remember my primary care provider, I think, had recommended it also for sleep, like helping with like better sleep. Does that sound right or
Yes.
no? Okay.
Yes, it definitely can help with sleep cycles and things like that too.
Yeah, so she had recommended it for that, and then the other benefits you mentioned just a minute ago.
And then the insulin resistance supplementation is something brand new. We kind of came out with that because, we have so many people interested in that right now because there's so much new information and research that's coming out about insulin resistance and weight loss. This supplement is just specifically geared to try to help stimulate, some of the same things that the GLP-1s like Ozempic and Mounjaro and those type of things help with, but it can also be taken with those drugs too as well. So it's just to help stimulate your body, to help increase your metabolism, like I guess maybe increase your metabolism so that you are able to overcome some of the effects of insulin resistance.
Yeah, and that's what
I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.
No, that's perfect, and I'm really excited for that one because I'm just about 18 months post-op, and I've noticed that I've definitely plateaued and gained a little bit of weight, which is okay. I know that's like common, still messes with my head sometimes, but I'm excited to add that in because I think it'll just help with like that added boost of if my body does need to lose a bit of weight, I think it'll help with that or just help me maintain whatever my body needs to do, it'll do it. But I'm really excited for that one and that you guys have that now. Super cool.
I actually, after I sent you one, I went and ordered one for myself too because I hadn't tried it yet. So mine is on its way, and I'm excited. So let me know. Let me know
Yeah,
how you
I
do
will.
with it.
I'm going to take like little notes just so you guys know, because I just filled all of my supplements today. So like today's the start or tomorrow will be the start, but I'm going to take little notes and stuff to report back because I think that's something like you're told you take vitamins, but it sometimes is hard to recognize the value until you run out and you're not taking them or when you're just starting. So I'm going to try to take that approach of me just starting. I'm going to take notes down of like things I notice and because I notice when I'm not taking my vitamins, and I've had seasons of that, I tend to feel a lot more like run down and tired, like just not having as much energy, getting sick easier, things like that. So that's just personally for me what I notice.
Shay, I love that. I want to add to this too, because I think that could be really helpful for a lot of people, what you just mentioned about taking notes. I started on I guess it's one of the GLP-1s. It's sort of similar to Ozempic. And I started on that
The internet strikes again. Oh, and she's back.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there.
I think you
No
were
problem.
so excited about what you were about to say.
Yeah.
It just broke on us.
Yeah. We broke the internet,
Whoa.
guys.
We're back though. You're good.
Yeah, no. Well, I was just gonna say I started some new supplementation on the side from a caregiver about 2 months ago, and it's been working great. I've lost about 15 pounds so far because I was starting to struggle with some weight regain. I've been trying everything, you know, all the things because I know a lot of the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and I just needed a little kickstart. And each time I go in to see this provider, there's a questionnaire of about 20 questions that I go through and I answer. And then they mark it on that sheet where I'm at each month. And then it's compared to the month before, you know, that type of thing. So it's a continual thing to see if there's been changes. You don't always see something. I know a lot of times it's hard to notice the changes that you're wanting to see unless you're tracking it somehow. So I love that.
So I'm sort of like geeking out on the website right now because I always have it up. So starting from high school, I think during university, high school, I worked in a lot of the like sports nutrition type of stores for about 8-10 years. And it was something that I actually wanted to get into prior to me getting into what I currently do. And so I am super happy with my vitamin regimen. I always knew it was going to be something important. It's been a big part of my life. But I am very, very interested in the uses of, sorry, we're going deep now, guys. Coenzyme Q10 and alpha lipoic acid. I know, I'm sorry, guys. Let me just get that ready. Right, exactly. So I was actually just wondering about so alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10 are two products that I have used previously in the past, and specifically alpha lipoic acid. I like as an antioxidant, also for muscle recovery because the amount of free radicals you produce while you're weight training. And do you find, I was very interested to see it in the mix because that's not a product that tends to stand out for a lot of people. Same with coenzyme Q10. I think about 10-15 years ago, it was pretty big, and I found that it's sort of gone by the wayside a bit. And I love the fact that I see it here in the ProCare Health lineup. Where do you see it being used specifically, and do you see those products I guess being utilized very often through the bariatric community?
That's a great question. I actually have to pull up my own notes because they're fairly new on our formularies. I did do a little research when both of them came out, like from ProCare. They've been out for, I mean, within the last year. Yeah. We're actually, that's our big thing right now. We're coming out with a lot of therapeutics. I do know that the Q10 was actually highly recommended by one of the dietitians that works closely with our program, and she puts a lot of her patients on that. She just said that it's really good to help with weight loss. I believe it's also it's cardiac healthy. It's really helpful to maintain your heart strength and heart health. And the ALA, as you mentioned, anti-inflammatory properties, big. And, you know, there's a lot of people who have had weight loss surgery that have joint problems. I'd say probably 90%, like a large amount. And so I'd have to actually ask our CEO, Nick, that I mentioned before, maybe why he chose the products that he was choosing, because he's kind of the one that's been at the root of, you know, developing new products and putting them, you know, on our formulary. But, you know, as time goes on, we're hoping to continue that. We're also hoping to add to some of the insulin resistance things, because that's a big thing right now. Shay mentioned something. She's interested in the I guess, women's health and like really starting to find ways to promote that. I passed all that information on. I'm still waiting on feedback, but I will tell you they're always open to knowing more and what's needed out there in the community.
Yeah, well, that's something that I was just I feel so passionate about, and the guys know it. Of, I have this element of my before my bariatric journey of learning how to regulate my cycle and just have like regular, what I would call like women's health. I just wasn't taught that. And so that's something I've been super passionate about. And so it's been cool to see how to blend together my bariatric lifestyle with more of that women's health lifestyle. And the guys love when I talk about that. So.
I'd love to know what Rob and Murph, if they take anything. Murph, is your wife had weight loss surgery too?
No, she is not.
She just is helping you.
She's helping me. She's in her 4th semester of nursing school right now, and she is she's all gung ho about it. We just started taking. So, I quit taking my Flintstone vitamins recently.
Yes.
No, I've not really taken vitamins seriously. Quite honestly, my bariatric office has not taken me seriously, I guess. I'm 2 years post-op. I just went back for my 2nd year visit, and he asked what I was taking, and I said omeprazole and multivitamin chewies, just once a day. And he said, okay, yeah, you're good. He didn't want blood work. He didn't want anything updated. But I'm starting to see that my body's changing. I feel like there's something else going on here, and I'm walking a lot more than I used to. I'm getting a lot more exercise than I used to. I work in an ER currently. I'm an ED tech. And my wife and I both work at the same hospital, and I'm getting 20,000 steps a day, and I'm coming home and my knees are killing me. My little overshare, maybe TMI, but I lost a chunk of tooth the other day when I was flossing, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, do I have like a calcium deficiency? Like like something doesn't feel right. So I need to get my vitamins kind of squared away. So this is so timely. So we did some research, or my wife did, because she knows a lot about this stuff now and she's learning. So we've been taking it's like a once a day, but it's got 3 things: calcium, magnesium, and zinc. Yeah. Vitamin D. And what a difference that's made. I've been able to sleep better with the magnesium, I think. And I feel more rested. And so it's like, ooh, wow, there's power in vitamins. And my blood work from 2 years ago that I got done is probably completely different now. But he didn't want to put in orders, and I'm thinking I should look into that and kind of advocate for myself a little bit, because I'm just doing the chewy over the counter, they're disgusting, and the omeprazole, and that's it. And so I'm wanting to do something else for sure. So this is cool. Thank you.
I use a lot. So I use a multivitamin with iron. I use 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day. I do 5,000 IU of vitamin D, 1,000 micrograms of B12 every other day, so 500 micrograms a day, 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C. I do glutamine, 5 to 10 grams a day, and I do branched chain amino acids as well, and fish oil. I do as well. But again, the reason I'm doing a lot of these other things is because of my activity levels. I train a lot. I'm very active. So muscle recovery is big for me. Immune system is big for me. That's why I love looking at free radical killers, looking at all the antioxidants. And yeah, so far everything's been okay. Everything's been good. But like I said, I have a bit of a background in terms of vitamins and all the supplements. So I'm always looking at different products and what I can use to sort of augment certain things that I'm seeing, right? Whether it's energy, whether it's my recovery. Usually it's energy and recovery or immune system. Everything else seems to, at this point, be pretty stable and be pretty controlled. But we'll also see once I get my bone density test too. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the regimen, Rob. I'm impressed. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, when we go to the trailer or the cottage, we just have a big bag of just supplements. And the good thing too is I think this is one thing that we've seen with a lot of different aspects in our life as a bariatric patient. Not only have we changed our own lives, but we've influenced the people around us. So like my wife never really took vitamins previously. Now she is on a regimen and she is very health conscious. Same thing with her diet, same thing with her exercise. So I think that's a good thing that we're able to influence people and motivate people to look at other aspects of health other than just the way you eat, which is, obviously it's very important, but it's not the only thing.
We have to get like a ProCare his and hers little gift basket. So like bariatric
I love that. I love
this
that.
house, because my husband, we've been talking about vitamins too, and he needs them. He's not a bariatric patient, but do little his and her gift sets for Christmas.
You should do a package. You should the Shea package. If Shea is similar to you, then these are the items that you would be looking at. If you're looking at someone like Murph, these are the items. If you are crazy like Rob, then you would have all these things.
Little profiles.
There you go.
I love that. I love that idea. I'm writing that down. That's so cool. And I'll have to catch up with Rob and Murph to get them men's gift package.
But I think it's interesting though, because I think that is part of the confusion for a lot of people in regards to supplementation is, right? Like I love the idea of having a profile of like, this is who I am. If I am the person who just had bariatric surgery, I'm not very active, this is what I should be taking, or these are some recommendations and why. Right. And I think that's the confusion. I think a lot of people don't take their vitamins afterwards because like, why am I taking all these things? Why am I taking probiotics? A lot of people don't understand why they're taking probiotics or fish oil. They're like, oh, I eat fish every once in a while. Well, what is the source of your fish? All these different things. Right. And I think that as you had said, you said it earlier, I'm just trying to spell it out as easy as possible. I think things like that would make it way easier for a lot of people to be consistent.
Yeah.
I love the profile idea though, because everybody's different. I'm kind of a minimalist. I'm not gonna lie. Like before I worked with ProCare, like I didn't take anything. I mean, I obviously I worked for the weight loss surgery program and I took the basics, but it was even hard for me to take that. I wasn't on any extra medications, blah blah blah. So taking a 1 a day and calcium is a lot for me. Whereas somebody like Rob up there, you may want as much as you can, you want all those extras and the benefits that kind of come along with them. So I love that. It is a different way of thinking because not everybody is that scenario, to be able to get down 1 pill a day, maybe all that you can do some days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the journey too. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say different parts of the journey too, or when I started, it was very daunting to think about taking even just 1 pill a day, where now, like just with my surgery and stuff, I'm able to tolerate more. So not even just an individual person, but just different stages of the journey, it can look and feel different. Sorry, Mark.
No, it's okay. I was just going to ask, do you have to have had bariatric surgery in order to, purchase and use ProCare products, or can somebody who has never had bariatric surgery take your supplements as well?
That's a great question. So for the multivitamins, we have a couple of them that could be taken for somebody just off the street. Our probiotic formula, it's like a multivitamin with probiotics, is 2 a day instead of 1 a day. If you've not had weight loss surgery, probably do 1 a day. We have a chew. It's like a chewy. We have a chew formula, like it's a disc that looks like a tum, and then we have a chew that's actually like soft, like taffy. That one there, if you've had weight loss surgery and you've had a duodenal switch, you take 4. If you've had a bypass, you take 3. If you've had a sleeve, you take 2. And for somebody who's not had weight loss surgery, they can take 1 of those a day. So that's another option. Calcium, really, anybody and everybody. The
Mhm.
recommendations for calcium is 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams, regardless of weight loss surgery. So, and those needs may even increase as time goes on. I've tried to research it. It's hard to find that data. And maybe Rob's kind of going like this. He may know because it sounds like you worked in sports nutrition for a while. Do you happen to know have you heard? I've asked our dietitian before who works closely with our program, and she said it's pretty much the same, but just curious.
And you're talking about calcium specifically? Sorry.
Calcium supplementation for people who've not had weight loss surgery.
So for women, it's usually it's over 30 or 40. It's still going to be high, about 1,000 milligrams at least. With my wife, for example, she's doing 1,200 milligrams. That's usually what I'm asking her to take. And for men, it doesn't necessarily have to be as high as often. There's, to be honest, most men will not take calcium. Should they? 100%, because realistically, how healthy is our diet and how balanced is our diet? And you can only get a certain amount from a multivitamin. If you look at the size of a calcium horse pill, 300 milligrams of calcium citrate versus your multivitamin, it's going to be as big, if not bigger than that, right? And so, yeah, it definitely is something that I think most people need to be taking anyways. And I think studies will also show that people should be taking it anyways in terms of your overall micronutrient profile throughout the day. But supplement wise, mainly, I think the focus has always been on women getting at least 1,000 micrograms for sure. Really, really good question from Charity, actually. And I'm going to share this here. I might have to get a revision from VSG to RNY due to complications. Is it true that I won't be able to take fish oil after RNY? I've been meaning to confirm.
I think that may depend on your provider, your bariatric surgeon. I know patients in our program that had Roux-en-Y. I mean, early on, right after weight loss surgery, the fish oil tablets are fairly big and maybe a little difficult to swallow. So, you can actually take a pen and push it inside the capsule and then squeeze out the oil and take the oil like that. Although taste wise, is it going to taste that good? Probably not. You could add it to some kind of food product like yogurt or something like that, or to your shake. I always think whenever I add my vitamins to my shake, it's like, wonder how much I'm actually getting, because sometimes it sticks to the side of the blender or whatever, so there's things like that. I would say after a period of time, most RNY patients could probably swallow down a tablet like that and be able to digest it really just fine. But maybe early on would be the big thing. And I would just maybe ask your bariatric surgeon just to make sure, whatever they feel comfortable with. I know we went initially right after our program was opening. We told everybody no pills bigger than an M&M or a Tic Tac. That's a lot of different things. And then as time went on, we allowed our newbies right out of surgery to start taking those tablets right away. If they could swallow a capsule, let them swallow it. It's just sometimes it just feels like it kind of hangs and it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So
I'll put in the chat. My PCP recommended, it's like this specific fish oil, and they're just smaller serving sizes. And so they're not that huge, like chunky pill. Yeah. So I'll just put that in there. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not recommending it, but all I can say is that they are smaller and easier to swallow. So I'll put that in there if anybody's interested.
I also have found that there are some fish oils that aren't super, super hard to stomach. Like, I know that there was a pina colada flavor one that my wife and I used to do that she would do when she was pregnant. And is it the most enjoyable thing? Probably not, still, to take a tablespoon of that or a teaspoon of that, but it was easier than taking a large 1 gram fish oil for sure. So good question, Charity. Thank you. How we're at 10 o'clock. Like, how are you doing with time? Because I feel like there's still a lot of questions. I know Murph's wife has way more questions, indicating that Murph is not staying on track here. But I just want to make sure we respect your time. Do you have a couple more minutes?
I'm good. In fact, I mean, we can cruise through a bunch of them. I mean, I can make my answers a little quick and easy if that's helpful.
And we will I will probably talk less because I ramble a lot. Murph's wife says, I'd love to hear more about the protein.
To be fair, I asked her if she had any questions. She said no, but she's in the chat. I'm not looking at the chat. So she's in the chat asking all these questions. I had, she's just hiding in the bedroom. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't you come over here and
That's a good wife. That is support.
All right. Thank you.
Would you like to read this question, Elise, or would you like me to read it for you?
She said you can read it. Go ahead.
So I'd love to hear more about the protein and snacks from ProCare also. What are the best sellers or most recommended options?
Good question.
I was actually very interested about that too.
Yes, no, that was my next question.
So ProCare Health came out with protein powders, their own brand of protein powders that they worked on over 2 years. Again, we worked really closely with a dietitian and a team, and we made what we call dream product for dietitians that have, that are working with bariatric surgery patients. So basically low in sugar, very high in whey protein, which is easily digested, digestive enzymes, because a lot of times people just cannot tolerate, make the shakes make your stomach hurt. And what else? And then you can make, and being able to add them in to make like either a pudding or a shake, like a shot versus, larger amounts of fluid, because right after surgery, a lot of times you can't tolerate large amounts of fluid. So you got to be able to compromise on that, mixing it with either milk or any other kind of product, like a soy product or a, almond milk, whatever kind of milk, and also be able to mix it with just plain water, because sometimes people don't like any kind of milk or milk substitute. So that's one. Another one is Ostrom, OSTRAM. We're a vendor for that product. Oh my gosh, they have every kind of meat stick that you can think of. Venison, elk, turkey, all different kinds, really lean meat, very good. We also have another product called Liquicell. It's a shot that can be added to water or just plain drink it by itself, and it has collagen in it. A lot of times people are interested in having collagen because it's a form of protein that just helps with kind of skin elasticity. So those are some of our big popular products.
She's freaking out over the pumpkin pie. It's fall, y'all, right? So she's all about the pumpkin. She saw the pumpkin. Do you have other seasonal type? Is that a seasonal thing, or is that just pumpkin pie?
The pumpkin pie. I'm like thinking what pumpkin pie. She's looking at our recipes. We have a bunch of recipes on our handouts page. Maybe she's
a protein bar powder. It's a protein powder pumpkin pie. She's on the protein powder pumpkin pie. She's excited. I think, we'll take a case of that.
I'm trying to think, unless it's one of our Z Pro. We have is it under Z Pro? We have some Z Pro products that we also offer that we're vendors for. They're not a ProCare name product, but they are super, super good. I absolutely love them. I'm looking at some of the flavors, like we have vanilla, we have chocolate, we have strawberry.
Red velvet,
but that might be one.
I love it.
You have even protein. So oftentimes you look at the nutraceutical companies and all the different vitamin companies, and they're very focused on vitamins, minerals, and with ProCare, helping the bariatric community, that's one thing as well. But your protein list of different products are so awesome for a bariatric person afterwards. I love the Liquicell idea. I love having those little shots of protein, because oftentimes, like I always have 2 shaker cups full of different things all the time, and having something like this would be way easier. And your protein mixes are very well formulated, really, really good products. So this is awesome. This is super exciting to see this, because to be 100% honest, before hearing about ProCare now, I always relied on just my previous knowledge and my research on different products and what I had known. And I love seeing things that are formulated specifically for, or not necessarily specifically, but can benefit someone of my lifestyle and my demographic a bit better. So this is great. I love it.
The one thing that I always have liked about ProCare, probably not just the quality part, because that's super important, when you're looking at products, but the price point, like that is what attracted our clinic whenever I was working for the bariatric program I worked for. We actually sold 3 or 4 different bariatric vitamins out of our clinic, but ProCare was always the highest selling because of the price point. And, let's face it, like, who wants to spend a ton on supplements?
Yeah.
I don't, most patients.
I do. I don't want to, but
yeah.
That's awesome. I would like to ask you a bit more in regards to the life coach part and the life coach support part of the wealth of resource that you provide our community, because I know for me, going and meeting with or working with like a mindset coach was very, very instrumental for me in regards to my journey. And really it comes down to the way my perspective changed going through my journey and being able to be appreciative of all the different things that I now have the ability to enjoy versus what I had previously. And really finding my own motivation. And so where does that fit in to not just, you and your journey, but how you have served the bariatric community and you continue to support them or us?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking of the short answer for that. So after working, Murph can relate to this. I worked working in the emergency department for so many years. I was around a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of emotional distress, a lot of everything. Pain, everything. I mean, and so I felt like I was looking for a way for myself to help not only myself, but other people in more non-conventional ways rather than just always putting a Band-Aid on everything. Now, Band-Aids are important if you're bleeding, and their surgery is important. Weight loss surgery is important it benefits us, it helps us, it supports us. But I wanted to find ways that could benefit like at the deep core root level of an issue. And so I started studying holistic nursing. I was kind of, it all kind of came down to it. I met a nurse who was out of St. Louis that was studying healing touch, and she was the president of Healing Beyond Borders. And I kind of got involved with her. And then I thought, how do I take this information, all this nursing information that I've learned, all of this other stuff I'm learning, I wanted to share it with people. And I didn't want to just like hand it to them. I wanted to be able to teach them and make it effective. And so the coaching piece came in. I went through the John Maxwell program, and really it was about me being able to effectively communicate, to be able to help myself and help other people, and be able to decipher, like be able to put it into tangible means to be able to talk to people. So yes, I feel like for anybody out there that is needing support, some people do well with therapists, some people, they go to a social worker or they go to a psychologist. For me, I'm more of a hands-on person. I don't know how else to explain it. I want to learn how to do something. And so it sounds like you've maybe worked with the coach before, Rob. I think a lot of times it's just a different approach, and it's all, like you said, it's all about changing your perspective. So if you want to change your life, change your reality. And the only way to do that is to change where your focus is every day, like what you're focusing on and your perspective. And that changes everything. So I agree with you there. For me, that's what it was all about, self-development, self-learning. And that's why I became interested in that. I don't know if I answered your question, but.
No, it's perfect. I love it. Thank you.
That's what I'm blown away by you, Brenda, just the little bit of interaction that we've gotten to have. Like, it's not just that you're selling ProCare, like that's not the feel I've gotten from you at all. And that's why ProCare and you have stood out to me so much, is because it's like, wow, here's this amazing person, you, Brenda, who has had such a wealth of experiences and knowledge. And the fact that you've landed where you have speaks volumes to these products and the company that you're working for. And so it's just cool just to get to know more about you and where you're coming from and all of the experiences that you have to offer, because it's like you have your nursing background, you're a patient yourself, you have the coaching pieces. And so all of that to say, just like, thank you so much for what you do for the community. And I'm just excited to get to know you more as a person, and that I'll get to meet you in person come the end of the month. We'll all be there at the Just Be You Awards. So all of us.
Exciting. You guys get to see each other in person also for once, right?
Time that I met either of these guys in person. They've only met each other one other time. So.
Oh, I love that. No, you're right. I mean, Shay, same with all of you guys. I think we were drawn together for that reason. When you're kind of like-minded, and really and truly, I mean, like, the reason ProCare has me doing these kind of things is to, people who stay involved with the community, people who are have support, people who learn about their health and ways to improve it. They're gonna take their vitamins. They're gonna do the things that they need for their health, and they're gonna be more consistent with it. I mean, it's a different approach about coming from a vitamin company. It's not just about selling things. It's about actually caring about how the products work for the people, and being able to take them and being able to use them. I mean, they're not of any help at all if you're not able to do that. So
for sure. And your heart for what you do comes across so so big. For me growing up, I never took vitamins as a kid, and I hardly take vitamins as an adult. And then, you've got big pharma, and it's a big, scary, money-making conglomerate type of thing. But to hear you talk about vitamins and health, especially for the bariatric community, it's inspiring. It makes me think that there's more to my bariatric journey that I wasn't even aware of. And that I can not only have gotten the surgery to live longer and healthier for my kids, but now I can take supplements. And the price point, again, for a family of 9, that I don't want to just go and pick something off the shelf and, because I think I might need this, or I might, I don't know what I need exactly. But to get that guidance and then the coaching thing, this is just great. So thank you so much for sharing your heart. I mean, this isn't just vitamins. This is you're sharing your heart here, and we appreciate it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Murph. I appreciate it.
Well, Brenda, and where can people find you? I know, like, you're part, ProCare, but I know you have other stuff going on too for yourself. Where's the best way that people can find you after and kind of get in touch?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. I have my Instagram tag there because I think that's what all of you have. And I know that's familiar to a lot of people, at HoehnB_bariatric_life support. When I created my Instagram account, I did not know anything about Instagram. I'm not going to lie. You can tell by that long name. And I've just never changed it. I just left it the same. So you can find me there. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me, my email. I can put my email too. It's just my last name and my first initial B. I don't know if I can.
We can put it in after too, like when we share that. So you don't have to worry about that.
It's my last name, Hoehn, Hoehn, my first initial B, at procarenow.com. ProCare Health website. On their website, procarenow.com, you can find under Bari Connected all different kinds of resources of our live events. And I believe Shay is going to be coming up on one of those. So she'll be joining. And I have every month we have live events on there. So you can find me on one of those live events too. We do almost weekly live events, monthly support groups. So that's another place as well. YouTube, we have our YouTube channel, it's under ProCare Health, vitamins and supplements. And we have probably 160 or 70 episodes of different topics regarding a little bit of everything you can even imagine. Hormones included. That's one of the topics we did before.
Full circle, guys. It came around. We got it. We got it.
I like her. She brings it back to hormones. I love it.
Yeah.
Brenda, thank you so much for, again, sharing all your knowledge, your resources, your stories, your commitment to the community. It's so refreshing to hear that. And like I said, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. Next week, guys, we have a bit of an audible. I know that we said we're back every Wednesday. Next week is a bit of a special episode. We're going to be back on Tuesday. We will be welcoming Jamie Mills, the sleeve dietitian. And we're going to be talking about her new book, The Easy Way Out. But on Wednesday, we will also be going live as well. I think it might be maybe for an hour. Sure, they're nodding. It'll be for an hour.
A happy hour. A full hour.
It'll actually be a happy hour, not a happy 15 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So again, Brenda, thank you so much for everything. And thank you guys for joining us on the Waiting Table podcast, where we're serving the weight loss community
1 pound at a time.
Thanks, everybody. This is where we dance off, Brenda. You can kind of hit us. Yeah, there you go. Look, this is high school Brenda's coming back out. Yeah.
This warm up for JBY, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be there.
Cutting a rug at the JBY. Go get your tickets, by the way.
Get your tickets. It'll be awesome. You get to meet all of us. Thank you, guys.
See ya.